last ban Brood on the side of Geek Fam?
There's no last pick still, right? Oh,
There
Shadow.
didn't last pick yet, no.
This isn't bad versus OD in the laning stage, right? It's all right. I think Shadow Fiend is
It's
overall.
just
pretty good.
they have a Night Stalker. Good lord, I don't know, man. SF has to go absolutely ham to win
SCA
this
Night
game.
Stalker, Monk ass.
I love the Geek Fam lineup. As you said, their one issue, no objective taking. If you're NIP, you could abuse this, have a strong laning phase, play around your Shadow Fiend, Omni, Morph. Like you get towers early, then Morph gets space. But I just think Geek Fam looks so powerful right now. This is a cool draft.
You're assuming it's going to be 2-0 at this point.
Yes.
All right.
I agree with him in everything that he said. Like, there's no objective takings on Geek Fam, though. That worries me a little bit because at some point, Morphling can get really out of control. But
dude,
I'll go with Geek Fam as well.
OD's really drop the hammer.
Yeah,
this hero,
OD,
even after the nerf, it's bonkers.
Blink Hex and Morph is just
you just
gone.
drop the hammer. That's it.
Is OD gonna be able to win the game by just dropping the hammer? We're gonna find out. 2-0 or a tie. It is NIP and Geek Fam with BSJ and Cap.
That's right, Game 2, Geek Fam have a chance to be able to close out this series against Ninjas in Pyjamas. A nice clean 2-0. And Brian, it sounds like you actually like their draft, much like our panel does.
I don't know if I like their draft as much as I don't like NIP's draft.
Oh, okay.
You said you were not a huge fan of the SF and a Night Stalker. I think any hero that's kind of vulnerable to just having somebody in your face doesn't really like Night Stalker that much. The one thing I like about Night Stalker a lot against the Omni Knight is you have the status resistance from Heavenly Grace. That doesn't affect the silence from Night Stalker because it's his own buff rather than putting the debuff onto you. So I just fear that if they... Last game, what NIP showed me was they're not able to play cleanly enough to separate the map. Because we saw Geek Fam had kind of light catch, low mobility, superior 5-man. And I feel like it's similar this game, but now they have the Night Stalker. So they do have the vision game advantage. There's really no hero in Dota that outvisions the Night Stalker. And I think with the Omni Knight against Razor, you have the Shadow Demon Disrupt and the OD Imprisonment, which counter the Glimpse. It didn't used to work that way, but if you are removed from the map, like by Yules or by Astral or by Disruption, you do not get glimpsed. So those, like the main tool of catch on the side of NIP is countered. So I can't really imagine them forcing fights the way they want to. And last game, when they had the ability to force fights, they just kind of threw on the side of NIP. And then you could tell when Geek Fam was allowed to force fights, they cleanly executed, they made use of that strength, and just won the game in one swift motion. So I think Geek Fam, who was it on the panel saying that was it Kyle, that NIP was more relying on their individual skill than teamwork?
Yes.
For once, I do agree with Kyle that Geek Fam seems to be much more superior in that regard. So for me, watching this game, NIP has something to prove. When it comes out of the laning stage, it's very hard to kill this Morphling. So if he gets like 3-4 slotted, yeah, they have OD, but OD doesn't quite like one-shot people the way he used to. Now that you like the Penguin there, Cap?
I do. I love the Penguin.
Okay, somebody was talking about pay to win. They're going to remove the Penguin soon.
Yes.
But you can actually send the Penguin up Fog, and if it comes back to you, that means there's a hero there.
Yes.
So, how do you feel about that guy?
It's a little questionable, but you know,
because
the important thing is being able to get that high combo with the Penguin.
Yeah.
That's the real important part. So you can see Gunner playing
Gunner's
around
really
with
stacking up the wombo.
Well, hitting trees and walls doesn't count. You have to pass between heroes.
Oh, okay. One time I accidentally did that during a block, and it got to like instantly 40 combo or whatever. And one of my teammates tipped me after that, so easy Dota plus points.
Well, he said there was going to be a lot that Ninjas in Pyjamas is going to have to be afraid of, including the crippling fear of the Night Stalker. But I'm sure there's a fair amount of regret going into this game, particularly from, I mean, we would definitely say Gunner, right? That was a subpar performance by him on the Slark.
He knows,
maybe Peter as well, though much less so.
I think Gunner knows that his performance last game was not a game-winning one.
Yeah, and that cannot be something like you're coming into this series like fresh onto the carry role. Your very first performance may have cost you your team the game. Like that's definitely going to be hurting your confidence. So hopefully he's going to be able to bounce back from that. He does have the
This is one of his best heroes. I think Morphling's one of Gunner, if not Gunner's best hero, because we were talking about off screen here that Gunner is nuts. He does some
Yes.
crazy things. And his ability to like push limits on heroes, sometimes he takes it too far, but for whatever reason, his Morphling, I think he understands it just perfectly. Whenever I play against him in pubs, I do try to ban the Morphling because it is quite scary to play against.
After his time on Ginnerbrews, he told me, I don't care deaths.
No cares to death.
No cares to deaths, but you know, he's a carry player now, so he might have to care about some deaths, but he does care about kills. Gunner picks up the first blood against Zephyr.
Yeah, support Tiny is just so scary.
Yeah.
Nice drag of the creep wave by Universe. Kind of left on his island here against Tree Razor. Sounds like my nightmare. Yours too, now that we're both.
Yeah, yes.
This is our experience a lot of times in pubs.
This old Train Protector solo zoning you out and giving the safe lane. Oh, Razor. That's not
Yeah.
a fun matchup for sure.
Luckily, Morphling's one of the few carries that's not absolutely hard countered by Razor. Because he does have innate mobility and he often has spell damage. You can build like the E-Blade.
But he is kind of countered by the OD, right? Even with
Yeah.
the change of intelligence to mana, you still have issues.
It's not nearly as bad as it used to be, but it
Okay.
is still bad. Like if you're isolated and you're getting wailed on by the OD, you do not feel good. Like you do not feel good tanking through all of that damage to survive.
So are you turning into the OD as the Morphling in this
I
game
don't
and like
know, actually.
imprisoning people?
I
or?
genuinely don't know who he's supposed to turn into.
Okay.
This
Well,
time
that's
around.
concerning.
Yeah, there's no clear targets. I think Morphling is much less about his ultimate now.
Yes.
They buffed a lot of his other kit and then nerfed his ult, so people are less likely to pick Morphling purely based off like last patch where you picked it with a shaker. But at the same time, you do still have to make good use of it because it is not necessarily giving you the 2 health pools, but it is giving you the double set of abilities.
Well, last game we talked about the fresh recruit of Tanner having to show up here on Ninja's Pyjamas. I think a lot of people certainly got a good look of him. Universe is going to be in some trouble here. He is just going to go for the quick TP out. That is something that this lane is lacking. It's got a ton of control. It's a terrible lane for Omni Knight to play against, or pretty much any offlaner, but at least have no stuns.
Yeah, he does force the Lave under tower, so when he comes back to lane, it will be pushed. But Astral already being used, so he can look for the toss back.
Look at that, Carl!
the
He
juke.
managed to juke it out, and it's going to be the melee creep toss back to Tanner.
Yeah, really smart move by OD there. Being aware, just like you were talking about last game against Gyro, playing around the creeps, that's important. And same thing against Tiny, just making sure you don't get tossed back. Doesn't really matter if he closes the gap on you. You just have to make sure you're not the primary toss target. And that's exactly what he does there.
16-2 CS, despite facing up against a tri-lane at the very start. Carl dodging another gank coming out.
We're making some good space here, though.
Yeah.
Making good use of his hero.
And that is something that I think it's a good test of forward positions when they have, they can't just default to dual lanes, right? What are you going to do? How are you going to impact the other 2 lanes? Because you can't go top against Tree Razor. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, if you're not going to be helpful in one of the lanes, just give it up, accept that, and do as much as you can in the others. And they are doing a good job of that, but the fact that as you mentioned, all 3 cores on Geek Fam having exactly the start that they want to have. He is applying a bit of pressure mid, but OD still winning like by a slight margin right now.
Yeah, Seth. He was down in CS by quite a bit in the first 2 or 3 minutes, but as he's starting to get more souls, as well as the helping hand of Fiber, creating a lot of space for him, he has managed to make the comeback. Bottom lane getting harassed, but it is going to be 5 minutes quite soon. They're going to try and get a fast kill on his Zephyr, tossed over to Peter, and leaving Gunner to get it until the disruption comes out. Maybe they can body block him long enough. No, Peter will take it instead.
Yeah, they did not nerf this aspect of Tiny. I'm pretty sure the nerfs to Tiny this patch, the base attack speed, as well as the base movement speed loss when you have the tree, pretty much all targeting core Tiny. So at this point, Tiny's pretty much delegated to being an annoying toss target. Yeah, they did nerf the toss range, but I just don't think it's enough to make this not good.
Go in trouble. Level 3 disruption is going to save him from the immediate toss. Can Fiber still get it though? Oh, they could just wait for him over.
Nice play.
Pretty easily execute the Night Stalker.
Keep securing your Morphling's game. Your Shadow Fiend's doing just fine. Your Omni Knight's one of the most impactful offlaners if his game's not good, but his other cores are good. So
yeah, similar to how Cuckoo had a really good game as a Baden. He did a lot in team fights despite having a terrible lane.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely these enabling offlaners are more so impact, like their impact on the game is based on how good of a game their other heroes have. OD queuing up the treads into Acceptor, looking for another toss by Biver. And just going to disrupt himself to protect himself, but he does not have, or disrupt the SF, excuse me, but he doesn't even have boots, but he's able to just walk away. Lots of disruptions this game. One of the more annoying lineups to play against when you have multiple saves. You have no clear target to go on. You have to be very careful of picking and choosing your fights. And if you overstep just once, they're going to turn the fight on you with one crucial save. A Razor, Tree, very counter-initiation heavy type heroes. Universe getting dove in the top lane, applying a lot of pressure with this catapult. And he does not have a TP this time around. So he's just going to get ran at. That does not draw tower aggro when Razor is attacking you through that static link. And forcing out a large reaction. Will they be able to bring him down, though? The creep wave did just die. Gets tossed back into his disruptor. And a bit of an overextension. That's a level 4 Omni, level 6 Razor. So that's a pretty crucial swing.
That
kind of similar to what we saw last game with the Huskar.
Yeah. That's a classic catapult overextension. Right?
Yeah.
You get in your head, oh, we don't want this offlaner to drag creep aggro. We want this catapult to do a lot bottom lane. Gunner, been left alone, but he already had the strength morph off, so he should be fine here, even if he is blocked in. And going to take a lot of damage before he finally decides to waveform away.
Yeah, he can just go all the way down to agility after these poison stacks get removed. Stick, salve, he's good. He might save the stick even.
You see a lot of teams in general just try and do so much with the first 1 or 2 catapults to try and take those early towers, especially now, again, with the side lane towers meaning so much that sometimes they overextend, as they did in top lane.
Well, it's even more important. You said they have no objective taking on the side of Geek Fam. When you have no heroes that naturally kill towers, catapults are the only game mechanic that actually gives you a way to kill towers. Going on to Zephyr here, he does disrupt the Morphling, which means he's vulnerable to the Glimpse if PPD wants to have it, but he just saves it and allows the Morphling to get the last hit. Only 151 gold. Toss is on cooldown for another 4 seconds. They're chasing after Carl. Will he have disrupted time? No, he actually chooses to banish the Shadow Fiend, and he's going to be super... Oh, he's just dead coming out of that.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Great read by Carl, and Cuckoo making the rotation. Sadly, with no boots, is not able to catch Biver so easily.
Regen Rune bottom as well if OD sees it. Super value. Oh, PPD's trying to deny it. He knows how important it is.
He can't get there fast enough, though.
Oh, my God. That's disastrous. OD was down to like 100 health, and now he's just back up to full, not missing a beat.
Oh, top lane, Raven. They're able to get the kill on Universes. Once again, they try and put that pressure on that Omni Knight when he's left solo.
Eventually, with these heroes like Tiny and Disruptor, if you fall behind, your only strength is when you're chasing after them, and they're not going to be getting chased after on the side of Geek Fam. They're going to be running at you, looking to punish Cuckoo again. No ultimate yet to get out. Biver giving him the good old reach around. Misses the avalanche, though. And that might be enough. That might be the damage they needed to get this kill. Nice glimpse onto Razor.
Ooh, they do manage to get it.
God.
Oh, God! He was full agility!
No!
Oh, what a disaster. An easy double kill for Carl, and he's probably going to get the triple here, as I'm not sure if Biver can really juke him out here in the trees. We'll see. He's going to have to find his way around Carl, thinking he already looped back, but now he runs back into Biver. Biver now does the loop-de-loop, but Carl, he was reading that the entire time. He knew Biver was going to head back that way eventually, and he catches him for the 3rd kill. It's a huge rotation from this OD.
And he's already got the point booster towards his Ags if he wants it. We were worried about Geek Fam if they won the lanes that they might not win, but they are crushing the lanes.
Yes.
And it is 3K net worth advantage. One thing you complained about with this patch, you felt like games were rather one-sided. If a team was winning at 10 minutes into the game, it was almost certain that as long as they played cleanly, they were going to take the game. So my question for you, Cap, going into this 10-minute mark, how do you come back as NIP? What's your tools?
I mean, they have a lot of team fight, right? They've got, at the end of the day, they do have Disruptor plus the Tiny and SF. Omni Knight's obviously a huge impact there as well. They're just going to have to get into those defensive tower team fights and outplay Geek Fam, as they are going to be able to try and grab this bounty rune and also potentially Shrine as well. Gunner's having a lot of his damage taken away, and he's failing to be able to finish off Dubu. So that means Gunner's going to have to waveform out, and Geek Fam will be able to take that outpost, but Disruption actually going down, slowing down Tanner a bit. Well, Carl's just going to focus on trying to get Gunner instead. Gunner, no waveform for another 4 seconds, but thanks to the Omni Knight, he'll be able to shrug off a lot of the damage quite easily. And sure enough, Geek Fam is able to get that bottom outpost, denying the experience from Ninja Pyjamas.
Yeah, even though Ninja Pyjamas accrued a lead last game, it's a similar where Geek Fam's heroes naturally force you to bring more heroes to kill them or deal with them than they have, right? You bring 2 or 3 heroes to a dive, you're forced to react with 3 or 4. And at this point, now that NIP's behind, I don't even know if outnumbering them's good enough. You almost need to bring 5 against 2 heroes in order to reliably kill them. And the amount of counter initiation saves, sustainability that this Geek Fam lineup has, I'm just concerned for them moving forward. They do get the toss.
Oh, that is a
Astro
beautiful
already used
toss.
on the mid wave.
Carl is very definitely gets the kill on Tanner first.
God.
An unstoppable streak since he picked up the kill on Tanner, gives 500 gold back over to Tanner, but
They needed that kill, but man, you are not happy when you bring 3 heroes and you trade mid for mid.
yeah.
That is not going to be a good enough comeback potential here for NIP, just getting that 1 kill. Geek Fam is the one playing the map very efficiently this game. NIP kind of having to sit together, looking for plays together. You said their team fight's better. Will Geek Fam give them the fights they need? I think Tree's one of the best heroes at doing exactly what he's doing right now. When you're ahead on Tree, you just push your Q down on the lane.
Yep.
How do the creeps ever walk? How do you walk into that? How do you kill a guy who's just in trees?
Same thing with him guarding outposts, right?
Yes,
like that
it's
top
very
fight
annoying.
was really made by Dubu just being able to stay in the trees and them not able to focus him down. And that's going to be a constant story. Same goes with Razor. I feel like those 2 heroes are so good at outpost fights.
Yeah, I like the skill build by Tree. Pretty much all the nerfs have targeted his leech seed, so just don't level it
Yep.
more than 1 point. He's getting a lot of pressure, but he's already got level 2 living armor. Probably going to start maxing that out based on the pace of the game. And Geek Fam reacting while meanwhile farming bottom and mid. So even though they are smoked reacting to this, by no means is this a heavy commitment.
Fiverr slowed down. They're going to make sure he can't get close enough to toss Raven at any point. Now Raven, with all that stolen damage, turns it back onto Gunner. Now Overgrowth immediately taken off by Universe. Good control, but there's the silence coming out from Cuckoo. Gunner kind of forced into an awkward position as he is actually stealing damage away from the Razor now, but Gunner needs to be able to get away from Carl, who's just laying shot after shot. And that does so much damage, even though it's a level 1 orb against that poor old Morphling, man.
Yeah, Morphling's just going to have a rough game because in this game, Morphling's elusive. And if he gets that shotgun up, he's a huge threat. But at this stage in the game, and for a long time afterwards, because of the net worth lead that Geek Fam has accrued, I just don't see him ever being able to like man up on this Razor and OD. And he's going to spend the entire time running, right? That's how I'm viewing this. And if you're running away from Razor OD with the Night Stalker providing the vision,
We see the hero damage coming out on the Morphling. And 13 minutes, 4,000 net worth lead for Geek Fam. And a hefty lead for them, especially when it comes to their cores. Razor and OD very far ahead. And that Razor, that's going to be one of the biggest detriments to Ninja's Pyjamas, them being able to say, okay, we've got some pretty decent team fight. When Razor's this far ahead, he's going to be a hard hero to neutralize. As he is going to be going for that fast BKB, Yasha. And I don't really know when our Morphling's going to be useful, considering how his game is stalled out a bit.
last game when NIP was winning, the story was PVD was just farming the dangerous farm as a position 5. This time around, you're seeing it from Dubu. Cuckoo is invis. Will they be able to catch him? But Disruptor behind, get the overgrowth onto 2, may just be a disengage. Do get the glimpse onto Tree.
Yeah.
That's a pretty small price to pay, all things considered. 4 heroes from NIP top.
Yeah, well, the question is Ninja's Pyjamas able to take a tower off of this?
Yeah, that's the big deal, right? Turn the kills into something.
15 seconds till the tree is back up. Are they going to be able to finish off this tower before the heals come in? Is Geek Fam going to try and defend without having their tree protector? It doesn't look like it. For now, they are just pushing in bottom lane as the Razor. They're going to let him TP in last, it seems.
I believe they're going to fight after the tower goes down.
Yeah, they've got already
shrine.
set up in the river. They've already run into one. That's going to be Peter. Stuck in an awkward position, disrupted in the river, in the low ground. Pretty easily picked apart. Glimpse back from Dubu's not going to stall him too much. And Geek Fam, who've already forced Ninja's Pyjamas out of this top lane, quickly go back to mid. Just get pushed in that lane, especially since
all
it's
those
nighttime.
creeps. That feels bad, man.
Yeah.
He is scared. It's like rightfully so backs off, but having all those creeps just live with such a small sliver of health. Does get the Essence Ring on Tanner. A lot of Essence Rings today.
Yeah. Usually not an item you want to see, right? I'm not sure how you feel about Brian. It's like, Great
Most of
on
the time, it's
IO.
rather underwhelming.
Yeah. Gunner. He's taking a lot of damage from Cuckoo, but certainly not enough. I don't think Cuckoo really did the math on that kill.
Either way, there's 4 heroes from NIP. He's scared them.
That's true.
And he's scouting for his team, setting up for the mid push. It's going to be Natural Knight anyways, so even if he doesn't have ult, it's not like that bad.
I will say, they may not have the best way to take towers, but I think Night Stalker is actually very good at it because of how hard it's fight into him. And all that increase in physical damage. Dubu takes a lot of damage, threatening the overgrowth over and over again. Ninja the Pyjamas don't want to overextend themselves. They're going to try and get this kill at a distance, but sadly it's a distance too far for them to reach. Mid tower falls, and Geek Fam continue their conquest on the Radiant side of the map.
Yeah, I like the way they're playing this game. Ag's already up on the OD. At this point, we talked about in the draft, Disruptor's Glimpse is just not impactful. You have so many ways. As long as Geek Fam's grouped up, Astral or Shadow Demon in Prison will save the target from getting glimpsed. And it's just so scary. Like, if you go on a glimpse target, for instance, and they just Night Stalker ult, then what? You know, at that point, you almost feel like you need to run away on NIP.
Were you okay with the Shadow Fiend pickup? For me, that was the one that, like, okay, you picked up this Morphling and Omni Knight. You know, it's going to be a bit of a slower lineup. But I thought there was going to be really something that was a lot more aggressive out of their mid.
I have been unimpressed with any last pick Shadow Fiend so far this patch. I think Shadow Fiend's a pretty decent hero, but he's just not a game-winning condition. He's just not this, like... He's not the Huskar from last game. Yeah, even though I don't know if NIP should have lost last game, that Huskar did have a significant impact on the laning stage. And Shadow Fiend's just not that type of hero. I think he's almost like he's going to do the exact same thing every single game.
Yeah.
Why give him a perfect game? Like, the difference between a really bad game in terms of draft and a really good game for SF is not that high. Looking to chase after them. They don't have the Night Stalker ult just yet, but PBD going to be caught out of position with the Purge. Does get the glimpse onto Razor. Does protect himself with the kinetic field. Is that enough?
A little bit of poison still left on him, but
the heal from
thanks
Omni
to the
Knight.
regen and as well as the heals from the Omni Knight, they're good to go. That is, you know, nobody dies or anything. It's like a very small win for Ninja the Pyjamas, right? It's like,
but last game,
it's
I
nighttime.
thought it was actually like a real win. This time around, it's like we didn't lose kind of win. Yeah.
True. Double damage for Cuckoo. They still have 2 minutes left of nighttime. And
At what point is this Morphling strong, though, right?
Yeah,
the
I
Manta
know,
isn't
right?
good against the Night Stalker Silence. It's good against the Tree ult, but that's about it. Tiny is going to do a bit of a gank tank, it appears, but it actually looks like NIP's trying to take a fight here.
okay, double imprisonment.
Eternity and Banishment.
That is something that I really hate about pickoffs against this Aghanims OD. It just feels like you can't teamfight into it at that point.
Yeah.
Because he's now gotten so much mana. Gunner turning into a Razor, stealing the damage from Raven, as Raven steals the damage right back. Universe taking a lot of damage as he was left behind. Quickly popped by Carl, who says, might as well use that Atlantis Eclipse because we're not really getting great opportunities for big team fights anyway. Might as well secure the kill. As you can see, 2,000 damage done by the OD in that fight with the double imprisonments and then that hammer drop.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the Astral Imprisonment into Night Stalker Silence. There's really no way to dodge that.
Yeah.
Unless you have BKB. There's no counter. You need 4 stabs, you need BKBs, but at this point in the game, items like 4 stab just don't cut it when you're this far behind because you need the ability to actually fight them with damage. And the team that's ahead in this scenario, Geek Fam, they're just itemizing the luxury items like the 4 stab, these mobility items that make it easier to play their heroes. And since they're so far ahead, they have enough damage to deal anyways. Philosopher's Stone is up on Tiny. That'll help him get to his blink sooner. Looking to make something happen, but never do you feel good on Radiant smoking like this. Because best case scenario, you're finding a kill, and then what?
Yeah.
They're going to get the D ward of a sentry. I don't know if you're supposed to actually kill that sentry.
It's like one of those smokes that you feel like you have to use to secure the
Oh, it does get the outpost.
but
Okay.
Zephyr, he'll be caught as well. He sticks around. That was an awkward position. You got to be aware of what the AoE of vision is from an outpost, sadly.
I do like that smoke. I honestly myself did not realize it was the 20-minute mark. So they do need to do something. You can't just fall over and die, basically. So
I do agree that it kind of sucks to have to use smokes for outpost security.
Yeah.
Right? In a situation where it sounds like to me team fights are going to be very hard for NIP. The only way they are going to win team fights seems very likely is off the initiation. They need to be able to catch somebody, and unfortunately, it's always them getting caught. As once again, Cuckoo finds Peter Pan's Dam with his ultimate. Does easily enough, but that is now going to be on cooldown. So for the next 4 minutes, we got daytime for an easy 2 minutes. We have no Night Stalker ultimate. Brian, is this the time that Ninja's Pyjamas should look to fight, or are they going to look to farm some more?
I think they have to. You need to get this Blink Dagger on Tiny before that time happens. He is 200 gold off, so you got to hit that crucial window. You're going to have like probably 45 seconds when Tiny has Blink Dagger and they don't have nighttime.
Especially since they
BKB
give them this
on
bottom
SF.
wave, so that'll be...
They have all of their items once they get this Blink Dagger. They have everything. They have Manta, Morphling, BKB, SF. Nobody is close to anything else. So if you don't make something happen now, I can't imagine when it's going to get any better.
Yeah.
So I hope they gather a sense of urgency on the side of NIP. Maybe you can even just like smoke it into a Roche or something. You just need to get, like that's what we saw from Geek Fam last game. They ended up getting 3 crucial pickoffs and then a Roche. So you, at this point, I think you're kind of hoping the opponent messes up, and that's fine. If that's your way of making it happen, you can almost force them to mess up, make it more likely that they mess up. And in this case, so far, NIP looks like they're grouped up, ready to go. Backing off on SF, they are. This is a good timing, but meanwhile, Geek Fam is just chilling, man.
That smoke becomes so obvious only because the Train Protector. Only Train Protector can play that part of the map right there and show that there's no heroes. So they're going to go try and catch him. They should be able to glimpse him back. Kinetic field.
Yay, position 5.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll actually turn into a tier 1 because he has no buyback.
True. That tier 1 mid tower is still up, so.
Okay, if they get a tier 1 off that, you're content with that, but can you? That's the real question.
And be judged fairly.
It's so
Arcane Rune
dangerous,
on the
Carl.
Omni.
He knows what a big threat is to get these little imprisonments off. Oh, Viper doesn't actually get the toss away. Now they're double imprisonments. And already Carl, he's really set up for a good standing to Eclipse here. He's going to get a few orbs on a Viper. And that save from the Omni Knight, not going to do anything. Carl starts finding his damage stolen away by Gunner, but they easily imprison him. Disruption on the other side as well. And there's going to be the hammer drop. Tanner already down to half HP. Carl's going to go for the back line. Tanner's going to let loose his ultimate, which is actually going to veer Carl back away from those supports. And Carl, maybe in an awkward position, potentially an opportunity for glimpse, but Nip feel like they're not strong enough, especially now with Cuckoo popping his ult. He's going to be sent away. Gunner's going to be able to waveform out. Ninja's Pyjamas not able to take that mid tower, but at least they didn't lose the team fight besides the Tiny. That could have been a much worse scenario, given how that OD was definitely set up for kind of a free game there.
I thought they had a chance to just focus the OD down. As you said, he was in a bit of an awkward position, but they were just hitting this BKB Razor. I think if they had the discipline to all turn around, you're seeing there Morphling does gain approximately 750 gold from the kills that fight, which is very nice for him working on that E-Blade, but he's still a ways off. The Ghost Scepter will be nice. Most of the damage from Geek Fam is right clicks, but at the same time, you do have just the Shadow Demon to continuously purge that.
So what do you think of the build, by the way? I've heard some people think this is kind of weird. Roya, of course, a known OD spammer. He wasn't sure about the Axe Aether Lens.
Does he have the Aether Lens queued up?
Yeah, he's already got it.
Oh, he's already got it. Okay, I didn't see that. Yeah, no, I mean, you're pretty much playing 100% around your Astral, right?
Yeah.
So you're just accruing all of these stacks or whatever you want to call them on your ultimate. You are going to get
Viper's going to get a toss over onto the creep wave instead, and now he's going to find himself in prison. They go for the overgrowth, trying to catch some heroes, but it looks like Viper's going to be the only one caught as Tanner goes for the BKB teleport out. Universe, no. Oh, there is the imprisonment.
That's that Aether Lens.
That Aether Lens, such a long range. That's going to be a 3rd kill off of that fight for Geek Fam. And I mean, we can see it right there. It's so hard for Ninjas the Pyjamas. They go for this 5-man, but the entire time it's like, okay, OD just got another charge and another charge. At what point are we still able to take a fight against him? And we could see they broke the moment the overgrowth came out. They were like, nope.
So for this specific game, I like the Aether Lens a lot because when I'm Geek Fam, I'm thinking to myself, NIP has a really hard time fighting into us. Yeah. I think every item we buy should make it harder for them to fight into us. Now you just have that extra cast range, you have that extra bit of mana. It's just a nice luxury item. It doesn't really change anything about OD. It kind of just makes him do everything what he's already doing better, right? It's just this nice luxury item. He has the Pupil's Gift on top for the extra bit of tankiness. They do manage to find the tree, but what price will they pay? BKB is on cooldown for Tanner, getting the good old walk down. Forced a Guardian Angel. They do have Glimpse. Does he have the BKB up?
Do they have any vision? They don't have Ward on the high ground. They were not able to get a glimpse.
I mean, that's a lot forced out just for a tree kill.
Yeah, certainly.
You don't feel good about that at all. That Omni Knight ultimate is pretty crucial, but even then, you have the Shadow Demon ult to purge it. You have the OD orbs to go through it. By no means is it a get out of jail free card like it is sometimes.
And now you've got the Blink Dagger on Night Stalkers, so Universe may not even get the chance to cast some of these abilities in time.
OD is just a hero now that he's not the carry anymore, I don't think. Right? In the old days, you kind of just won the game off of OD. This time around, I think it's just, he's almost like an anti-carry. He just imprisons you all the time and then eventually blows you up. I don't think he's meant to be. They increased his base attack time overall. They made his Astral much more of the focus of the kit by giving it charges on the ult.
Yeah.
So
And this
just use
iteration of OD has gotten his ultimate nerfed so much that it's not like the one-shot tool that it really was for a lot of the games. The blink forward on to Tanner, forcing him to use his BKB here, and he doesn't have TP out, so he's just going to be purged, brought down pretty easily. Raven's going to look for more kills, slowing down Peter. PPD, a toss, a little bit of block there from Biver. He's going to make sure that Peter doesn't immediately die, but he's going to chase down by Cuckoo. Once again, comes in clutch with that Blink Dagger. Imprisonment.
He's going to be silenced.
He's going to silence when he comes back. Do they have the damage to blow him up real quickly? Looks like he got off a Shrinkborn still, but it has too much damage from the OD. Universe caught inside the base as well, and Geek Fam asserting full dominance over Ninjas the Pyjamas. Looking to close this series out 2-0 as they just full 5-man into the towers.
The pain train is online. Choo-choo. That's what I have to say there. They just running them down, man. Go more. Go more. I think Gunnar might care his deaths this game, but either way, 13K net worth lead for Geek Fam. 4 down on the side of NIP. It's felt rather hopeless since that 4 to 5K net worth lead that Geek Fam acquired at 5 minutes or 10 minutes, into the game. I think, to be fair though, Geek Fam has played this near flawlessly. I don't think that they've given an ounce of wiggle room for NIP after falling behind. That's kind of the difference here. That kind of proves to me that Geek Fam is the more solidified team. Last game, the level of control of the outcome of the game I thought NIP had was the reverse of what it is this game, and they threw it away. While Geek Fam, on the other hand, looks like they took that lead and executed exactly what their lineup was supposed to do, and at this point, the ball's in their court on the side for Geek Fam. Taking the shrine, setting up for the Rosh. They don't really have a natural Rosh hitter. They literally have no Rosh damage.
If they don't come back from this, you can say, like, okay, Ninjas the Pyjamas, first series of the new year and stuff, like, maybe they're just a little rusty and stuff, like, maybe they'll be able to figure these things out. But when I see a team in their very first series of a tournament come in and do what Geek Fam has done, I have a lot of confidence in them moving forward, right? Like them being able to have the comeback in game 1 and then just dominate game 2 and not give any moments of weakness, not give the opportunity for Ninjas the Pyjamas to come back. That is a sign of a well-oiled machine right there.
Yeah. I'm thoroughly impressed with Geek Fam. I wonder how much impact their roster replacement has had for people who are just showing up. Both teams did replace their mid laner coming into this tournament between the qualifiers and now. Gunnar was put to carry while Tanner was added to mid, and Ryoyo was replaced by Carl, who's otherwise known as K in game. So far, the unity side for Geek Fam looks way better. Sometimes one player can really just throw a major wrench in the teamwork, and Geek Fam doesn't seem to be missing a beat in that regard. Despite the fact that first game was not clean at all, they did do exactly what they needed to do to come back in the game, and this time around, they are just 5-manning it up. They seem to clearly favor those types of lineups, those drafts. They did it both games. Got to make sure that he doesn't get the last hit, man.
Trolling each other a little bit. Both Carl as well as Raven going for the last hit on the tower. And Dubu is the one who decides who gets it.
That's a 3,200 HP OD.
Yeah.
That's a lot of health, man. Yeah, now that he has Agi Treads on, it's a bit different, but I like that idea of OD. In this patch, I don't feel like you need to play him in a way that you're planning to right-click everybody. You can just... Yeah, the mangoes are fruitful this season.
Treasure trove over there.
But an OD, I think he's the type of hero where if he's just not dying, it seems so simple, right? But if he's not dying, he is the be-all, end-all. He's going to eventually kill you.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to Astral you enough. Like right now, one Astral goes off.
Okay, Ninjas the Pyjamas. One last desperate hold by them as Gunnar trying to steal some damage away from Carl. Carl eventually breaks it, waveform forward, but Gunnar now kind of stuck in the trees and not able to do a whole lot as BKB now wears out. Oh, Jesus, he's gone.
There you go.
Carl.
Didn't kill the OD.
Drops the hammer on him. BKB wore out, and as you said, it was just inevitable that OD is going to kill you. Now Tanner, he's going to try and hold out a little bit longer. The imprisonment goes down on him with a buyback coming out from Peter, but Peter, can he stop any of this damage? Well, Static Storm actually does, and Tanner's going to be able to get off his ultimate at least, but is anybody going to die from Geek Fam? Peter just running out there trying to get a glimpse back on Carl. That doesn't do anything because Geek Fam are still the 5-man unit, and Ninjas the Pyjamas are broken and sitting inside their fountain.
There's just too much to chew through. The living armor, the mega saves from the Shadow Demon, as well as the OD. There's so many defensive items. You just have damage issues. Last game, this is really a repeat of last game, except NIP's behind this entire game rather than being ahead past the 15-minute mark. And you're seeing here, Geek Fam, they're just allowed to 5-man, and there's really no response from NIP.
It doesn't look like we're going to get any items that change. Like, there's no big power spike. A Manta on a Shadow Fiend, that's not like...
Hey, yeah, you buy it so that you get BKB and then get Overgrowth and then Manta, but what does that really do, as you said?
What is our Morphling going? Is he still trying to get that shotgun? That evil? Okay.
Oh, he bought the BKB. Yeah, he bought the BKB.
Bought the BKB instead, so that shotgun is going to be
the way I like to think about BKBs is when both teams pop their BKBs, the fight settled, or the dust settled, everyone's BKB is on cooldown now. What team is at the advantage? I would say that drastically favors Geek Fam here. Like, if you're an OD with no BKB against a Morphling with no BKB, Morphling gets crushed. Like, he actually just gets crushed there. So, in this case, you have to buy the BKB to combat the BKB of the Razor, but OD doesn't even have to build one. He just runs away from you or astrals himself for the entire duration of your BKB, whichever one he chooses to do. I like the way Razors are building nowadays. We saw Chinese Razors doing the same thing. They don't build anything other than just Butterfly, S and Y, BKB, Satanic. They're just gonna man up on you because you do get the attack speed on your leash when you're attacking or when you're leashing somebody. You do benefit from it. Gunner does get disrupted up, but he doesn't really care. Zephyr just laughing at him.
Yeah, Gunner's just sitting on full strength morph a lot of times just for fear of running into the wrong heroes.
Hear me out. What if they toss into tier 4s and then full strength morph stun them back into Fountain?
I mean, that is something that Ninja the Pyjamas seems like they need.
Yeah.
To be able to win a team fight. They need a helping hand from the Fountain, or at least the tier 4s, because none of these fights have been close. They're going to smoke up, see if they can get to the Roshan pit. And fortunately for them, Geek Fam is very slow at doing this Roshan. But can they still get there in time? They're being delayed a little bit by running into some illusions from the Razor. They're up on the high ground just now. But Dubu, as well as Cuckoo, positioned to be able to break some smokes. Cuckoo immediately popping his ultimate to be able to get vision and ensuring Geek Fam that they will indeed get that Roshan completely unimpeded. Now Cuckoo, as the Roshan's finished up, he's going to try and jump forward, gets glimpsed backwards. They are going to be able to finish off Zephyr, but now the cores of Geek Fam are here. The BKB is wearing low already on Gunner. Tanner, in fact, has his damage being sucked away and is not going to be able to complete that TP out. Gunner similarly in trouble here as he gets imprisoned, kind of toyed with. Peter's going to try and go for a static storm to allow Gunner to get out of here, but Cuckoo with his BKB was able to keep the silence up and on top of the carry of Ninja the Pyjamas. The captain will fall last here in this team fight as Ninja the Pyjamas just running out of steam. Viber trying to go for cutting some creep waves and stuff, but the bottom lane's already pushing in, so Geek Fam, they don't have to worry about all that.
The BM is real coming out from Geek Fam. To be fair, they're not tapping out on the side of NIP. Buyback on the Tiny. Can he make something happen? Silence from the Night Stalker. It is only daytime, but man, they have some serious damage issues. They have base issues. They have a lot of issues on the side of NIP. All the value Meteor Hammer onto both racks.
One more issue, no buybacks. Survivor uses his. Gonna have a buyback coming up for Gunner, so he's gonna have to play the front line here and somehow force Geek Fam to overextend. And then try and catch him with that second life. But that's not for another 5 seconds here, as Geek Fam look to claim the Megas before all this finishes off. Leading off with a few imprisonments. Our OD does not have Sanity's Eclipse up just yet. Gunner coming out as a Razor, 4-staffed away by Carl. They, again, just kind of poke at him. Ninja the Pyjamas very susceptible to all this long-range poke that comes out from Geek Fam. They have to, like, overcommit at times just to be able to take an engagement. You can see some of these heroes are just not easy to kill, as once again, disruptions and imprisonments both being used to be able to save Dubu's life here. Fiverr running forward, gets 3-shot by Carl. Gunner, he's going to be ignoring that BKB Morphling and moving forward inside the base to finish off Peter Pandam and possibly Tanner, as Tanner gets slightly body blocked by Universe, but it doesn't matter. He was going to die anyway. Now the Gunner no longer has his BKB. Geek Fam can just sit outside of their fountain and force Ninja Pyjamas into a very demoralizing GG. Missed
Didn't
out
bring
on
him
the
down right
final
then.
kill.
Could have really
Team
padded the
Geek
stats
Fam,
there.
Victory.
I think it was just Geek Fam had control of that game the